Hey everybody, welcome to AMC Movie Talk for movie fans. I'm your host, Sinead DeFries, and this is The Daily Show, where we bring you the latest news from the world of movies, plus some insight into what it all means. Joining us, as always, is AMC Editor-in-Chief, John Campea.
Greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome to the show, coming to you live from right here at the Stream.TV studios here in Hollywood, California, and we are so glad you decided to make us part of your day.
Also here is AMC's Miss Mary Jetikin.
Hi everybody, nice to be here at the desk.
And writer-director John Schnepp.
What's going on, everybody?
It's just been announced that seemingly professional awards ceremony host Neil Patrick Harris will be hosting the 87th Academy Awards ceremony to be held on Sunday, February 22nd. Harris served as host of the 61st and 65th Primetime Emmy Awards, as well as the 63rd, 65th, 66th, and 67th Tony Awards, for which he won 4 Emmys. John, what do you think about Neil Patrick Harris hosting the Oscars?
This picture helps. I love that picture. Okay, me personally, look, I've always had this thing, and I still have this thing, where I just prefer true movie personalities hosting the Oscars. You know, you don't get a plumber to host the NHL Hockey Awards. You don't, you get somebody who is, a real big personality in that industry. That's my preference. That being said, you're going to be hard-pressed to find a better award ceremony host than Neil Patrick Harris. I actually watched a damn Tony Awards. I couldn't give 2 squirts of urine about the Tony Awards. That's just me. No offense if you love them. That's great. I'm just saying it's not my cup of tea. But I watched it simply because he was hosting it. That's how good of a host he is. So, while he is not a purebred movie personality per se, it's hard to criticize this decision. It's far better than Ellen. So I think this is great. Now, then again, keep in mind, I thought that the James Franco and Anne Hathaway selection, I thought that was a great selection too before the show. So keep that in mind too. But I can't help but be, as somebody who loves the Oscars as much as I do, I can't help but be really happy about it. I think he's going to do great. Anyway, Miri, what did you think about it?
Yeah, I agree with you. I think he's going to do great. I love the fact that there have been, like you said, classic movie stars. Like Billy Crystal was always wonderful. I actually really liked Ellen last year. I thought she did a good job. It also, the Oscars telecast last year had the highest ratings in 14 years. So she did something right. So he kind of has big shoes to fill. Because I think everybody liked her, hosting skills, and she was funny, and she managed to walk that line.
I didn't think she was any of that. But anyway, I'm glad you did.
I liked her. I thought she was good, and I think he's a great choice. I think the times are changing, and I don't know that movie stars, in quotations, necessarily have the energy or the kind of personality that it takes to be a host of an awards show. It's 2 completely different skill sets. So I think Neil Patrick Harris is a great choice.
Yep.
I liked Ellen too, but and Hugh Jackman, he was a movie star, and he was able to kill it with his musical skills. This guy's been an actor to me ever since Starship Troopers.
Doogie Howser.
Yeah, before Starship Troopers, he was Doogie Howser. After Starship Troopers, he was an actor. So
he's a Nazi telepath.
Yes, he is. I think all of his different roles that he plays are great, and he's a perfect fit for the Oscars. He's talented. He can do musical numbers. He's funny. He's got wit. He's smart. Great score. So I think jumping into Helen's shoes will be or Ellen's shoes. Sorry.
Helen too, though.
Yeah, and Helen as well.
I mean,
Helen's
ever since last year, though, a guy I would love to see host the Oscars sometime soon is Kevin Spacey.
Yeah.
Like that. I mean, he's kind of like Neil Patrick Harris. He's a triple threat entertainer.
Yep.
He knows movie history like nobody else does, and he's charming, great, funny. It'd be really cool to see.
Great
him
impersonations.
Also, when they're on the inside like that, like he's friends with all the A-list people. Like when you're in the club, I think it adds something to the hosting experience. I think that's what worked well with like Hugh Jackman or Billy Crystal. Is like they're in that club, so they can kind of razz the people in the audience, and it's a little more playful and not quite as maybe offensive as in some other years. Not that I ever.
I wonder how many Gone Girl jokes are going to be at the Oscars this coming year. All right, what's next?
As most of you know by now, the first DC movie to come out after Batman vs. Superman will be Suicide Squad, which WB said they were targeting 4 A-list actors for the lead roles. Now, The Hollywood Reporter is claiming that WB have approached Ryan Gosling, Tom Hardy, Margot Robbie, and Will Smith for the film. Schnepp, buy or sell these 4 names for Suicide Squad?
if it's that poster right there, then I'm going to see the movie. I think it's the After Earth Will Smith.
Yeah, I gotta give a
weird...
shout out actually to Ray Ora, who's one of our production guys, and he put this poster together. I love
Ray,
it.
you're doing a very good job and make me not want to see Suicide Squad. This group of people, I mean, we know Suicide Squad is like a very long list of different villains, It's a constant moving roster, changing roster, so we've heard there's going to be 3 or 4 main characters and then 8 or 9, strangely disabled supervillains who either get chucked out of plane, do whatever. Who knows what's going to happen? But, seeing this group of actors together, I don't mind it. I think it was a weird pick when I first heard a Suicide Squad. Why are they leading with? And then I was like, they're trying to counter with Guardians of the Galaxy. Makes perfect sense.
That's actually a really good point.
They're trying to counter program. They're like, Marvel's slapping this weird 70s strange thing, or that, and then the rebooted, 90s Guardians of the Galaxy was definitely a help, but still people didn't know what the heck it was. Same thing with Suicide Squad. It's a head scratcher. What's that? Chuck a bunch of really great actors in there, have a lot of fun. You can pop off a brand new, property. So
I don't know that I give any credence at all to the report. Now, I believe the report. I do believe that Warner Brothers has, remember, the report says they've approached these actors. But what Schnepp and I were talking, before the show started, and I said, if I was making a movie and I put in a phone call to Will Smith's rep, you can run a report that John Campia's movie has approached Will Smith about the role. Well, that's true. It doesn't mean that he's going to be in it. Tom Hardy is an interesting name there because he's already been a bad guy in the Warner Cinematic Universe playing Bane.
Do your Bane voice. Let's hear it.
I'm not doing Bane.
Somebody do Bane. I'm not going to do it.
But
I'll do Suicide Squad.
There you go.
But, I mean, he would probably look completely different in a Suicide Squad movie. That's fine. But so I believe they've all gotten phone calls. I don't believe that means there's any necessarily good or bad possibility that they're actually being in the movie. Plus, the other thing is this. Will Smith has kind of proved in the last number of years he only wants to be in a movie if he is the definitive star of the movie. Like, remember the whole thing with Quentin Tarantino? Tarantino wanted him for
Django.
Django Unchained. And he was into it and then said, basically he didn't like that Christoph Waltz's character was getting so much attention. I should be the guy that kills the bad guy, and he pulled out as a result. So it seems like he's only going to appear in movies if his son's in it or if he's the definitive star. And that's a criticism, but at the same time, the dude has enough success that he's earned the right to do that if that's what he wants. If that's what he wants to do, he's earned that kind of marquee status. And I think when he wants to turn it on, Smith is a hell of a good actor. But for those reasons and others, I don't really think this is going to be our Suicide Squad. Be very cool if it was, though. I mean, tomorrow if Warner Brothers dropped an announcement that this is our Suicide Squad, color me extremely impressed. Very impressed. Anyway, Miri.
Yeah, I agree. I think this is the perfect cast for the Suicide Squad. I mean, from what I know of it, it's like a group of supervillains that are very forced into doing good that they don't necessarily want to do. So I think if you're going to cast supervillains that have to make good, I think this is a really good group. But like you said, it's early days and an offer doesn't mean anything. And also, to your point about Will Smith, I feel like as an actor, I would hope that he would just want to do good material. And it makes me sad that I don't get to see him in more stuff because he wants to be the guy, leading the pack. When I feel like he's depriving the world of what could be some amazing performances because he wants to be front and center. I feel like that's kind of sad.
Yeah, but he could be wanting to play ball. You never know, like, why his name even got popped in. It could. You're right. It's like, there's an offer out and it's been rebuffed. Or it could be something where it's like these people have all been talked to like a month ago and they're like, all right, drop the press release, say we're talking, just to get everything going. But yeah, I could see all the chemistry working with all of them. So.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that Will Smith, what I'm saying here is that in this collection where you've got Ryan Gosling and Tom Hardy, Will Smith is not going to be the standout star.
Correct.
Now, that's not to say he's not on par with those guys.
He is in this poster.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's completely on par as an actor with those other two guys. But it's just that he would be one of the ensemble as opposed to the star. And I just don't know if he's at the point in his career where he wants to do that. I hope he is. That'd be pretty cool. Oh, I got to ask one more thing, though. Harley Quinn. If they do Suicide Squad, do they introduce Harley Quinn into it? Before her having no association with Joker, can Harley Quinn be a standalone character on her own in something like the Suicide Squad?
I think it'd be a smart thing in the DC cinematic universe to introduce Harley Quinn without the Joker, because the Joker could always be. Remember, this is, as far as I get it, this is an older Batman, and
Right.
if this is all tied together, then the Joker's already been around, so
Yeah.
maybe Harley Quinn's already established in this cinematic universe. It's hard to tell how they're going to work it, but Batman's been around and he retired, now he's coming back, so who knows? They're saying, they're going to have a lot of little couple of guest stars, maybe Batman will jump in,
Probably. All right, we've reached that part of the show for buy or sell. Here's how this works. In front of her, Sinead's got a few other items in the world of movie news. She's going to run them down. Then those of us at the table are simply going to say whether we buy it or sell it. So, Sinead, what do we got?
Missing from the massive WB DC announcement yesterday were any standalone Batman or Superman movies. However, Warner Brothers' parent company, Time Warner, later tweeted out the following. Warner Brothers Entertainment plans to release at least 10 DC Comics-based films beginning in 2016, not counting standalone Batman and Superman films. John, buy or sell WB's decision not to include Batman and Superman films in yesterday's announcement?
Schnepp and I kind of touched on this a little bit yesterday. Completely buy it. First of all, I do like this clarification tweet that Time Warner came out, but it's not laser focused sharp clarification. This seems to suggest to me that within that 2016 to 2019 window, they are also going to have Superman standalone films, because it says not counting the standalone Batman and Superman
Yeah,
films.
because they gave dates to everything except for those two.
Yeah, and they didn't even say anything about those two. And Schnepp and I theorized yesterday, you know what they're doing? And this is them playing hardball. They're holding on to announcing standalone Superman and standalone Batman, like Man of Steel 2 and the Ben Affleck Batman films, until Marvel comes out with their next big announcement. It's like, oh yeah, Marvel, you put that out? Bam! Superman 2. How about that, son? I feel like that's what they're doing.
That's right.
And if that is what they're doing, I think that's brilliant. But let's keep this in mind too. If this is true, and if they are still planning on doing Man of Steel 2 and the first standalone Batman movie with Ben Affleck in that window, that means we are going to get 3 DC comic book movies a year. Like that, which is just crazy. But it looks like Kevin Shihara, is that how you pronounce this? Like the CEO over Warner Brothers?
Tsuchihara.
He is all in with the Marvel stuff.
Yeah.
He came on board about a year and a half ago or something like that as the new CEO.
Yep.
And he has been, right from the beginning, he's pursuing The Rock, he's doing this, he's trying to pull all stuff together. And he seems like he is like DC or bust.
Yeah.
So I think this is pretty cool stuff. What do you make of it?
I think it's great. I mean, yeah, like we were talking about yesterday, it's definitely they're just going to hold that back. Because we're like, yeah, where's Superman, Batman? Oh. It's not like they forgot to mention it. They're like, here, check out all this other flavor. Yeah, these guys are coming. We're going to just wait a little bit.
Yeah.
You know it's coming. It's like 2016, they're going head to head. And we already know Ben Affleck's probably signed up. We don't know. I didn't read the contract or anything, but we're guessing.
We have no doubt.
Yeah, that he's doing like at least 1, if not 3 more Batman standalones. So when are those going to drop? Hopefully sooner than later. So I know they're not going to be dropping in 2021 Man of Steel 2.
When he's 48.
Yeah, that's just
when
not.
he's 48.
Yeah.
Are you going to have your first Ben Affleck Batman film when he's 48?
No.
He can still be playing Batman at 48. I just don't
Yeah.
think you do your first standalone Batman when he's 48.
You do your first standalone
Anything's
Batman.
possible, though. What do you think?
2017.
I'm actually going to sell it, only because I would have liked them to just announce their slate and not be like, we're holding back. I don't know what their reasoning is, and I could, hypothesize about why they held back. I just feel like they're already fighting against the notion that they're running to keep up and grabbing onto Marvel's coattails, and they're kind of late to class, and they're like trying to like show up, and this is like, okay, here's the 10 films and also 2 other ones. Like it's sort of like, well, why don't you just announce everything and just own it and say, this is our beautiful, glorious, gigantic slate. Here's Superman, here's Batman, here it is, and then focus on each one as it comes, because holding back on an announcement just to like keep people waiting, to me just feels like it's almost like clickbait. Like 21 reasons why it just feels kind of cheap. I kind of would have liked them to.
Here's the thing though, it's like we are still in the past considering 2016 is 2 years in the future. So we can wait.
You just blew my mind with astrophysics.
In 1 year, we will still be in the past because 2016 Batman vs. Superman still won't be out. So 2015 San Diego Comic-Con is when they announce the Superman Batman movies.
Fine, but
It's still like in the future, we still have to wait. So
There's also a public buzz game. There's a public buzz game going on.
Yeah.
And hand it to Warner Brothers. Nobody last night or this morning, and me monitoring all my social media channels and people sending stuff into me, Nobody was talking about the Captain America 3 story anymore.
Right.
Everybody that was talking to me at any
it's
rate
huge.
was all talking about the DC announcement. And I think keeping that bullet in their barrel, they're still dropping Superman 2. They understand they're engaged in a bit of a battle right now. I think they get along fine with Marvel Studios, and I think they all know that, a rising tide, raises all ships.
Sure.
I think they know great Marvel films is good for DC films, great DC films, and vice versa, but they still want to win. And I think they're holding that bullet back, and I think it'd be interesting to see where that goes. But as a fan,
I want it now, damn it.
as a fan, I completely agree with Miri. As a fan, I completely agree with Miri. All right, what's next?
The first trailer for the new Chris Hemsworth film, In the Heart of the Sea, has hit the web. The film is described like this. In the winter of 1820, the New England whaling ship Essex was assaulted by something no one could believe. A whale of mammoth size and will, and an almost human sense of vengeance. The real-life maritime disaster would inspire Melville's Moby Dick, but that told only half the story. In the Heart of the Sea reveals the encounter's harrowing aftermath as the ship's surviving crew is pushed to their limits and forced to do the unthinkable to stay alive. Miri, buy or sell this trailer?
I will empty my bank account to buy this. I buy it enthusiastically. I think Chris Hemsworth, I'm so excited to see him in this role. I think he has tremendous range, and I think he's going to show it in this film, and I think he's shown it a little bit before, but this might be his chance. The effects look amazing. It's Ron Howard, and I know he does human drama really well, and I love so many of his films. I can't even, process how many of them I love. There's going all the way back to the 80s. There's Splash and all the things I've grown up on his movies. So I'm very excited. I'm excited for some of the supporting cast like Ben Whishaw and Brendan Gleeson. And the fact that they're attracted to this project because they do such good work kind of says something about the quality of the script and the team that's involved in making it. And those whales, man. The trailer is
that
like
poster, the whale under the water is so amazing.
It's incredible. I mean, I'm an animal lover, animal rights activist, armchair, but still an activist, and I always root for the animals. Like in The Grey, I think I was the only one that was going yes, go wolves. But I have to say, even in this, you see the formidable size of these whales, and you're just I don't know. I'm very blown away. I think it's going to be great. Bye.
You could definitely see the hatred that was created to write Moby Dick, by just watching a whale just destroy your entire crew. And frightening and really well-directed trailer. I mean, it's really well put together. It really set it up for me to want to see this film because it goes past just the Moby Dick story and then a tale of survival and horror on that weird island.
It's a pun. You made a pun.
I worked it in. Not even knowing. So I buy it.
I gotta buy it too. I mean, I was buying this thing just with that poster, man. I just think
so
that poster, the trailer's incredible place. Cillian Murphy is in there as well. Great cast, Ron Howard. I liked everything about this. I am really stoked for this film now. All right, what's next?
A new trailer for the upcoming The Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 1 has hit the web, which features Katniss returning to her home district, only to find it completely obliterated by the Capitol. Schnepp, buy or sell this new Hunger Games trailer?
I buy this trailer. I thought it really created a haunting mood and also gave the whole reason for, hey, she's not going to fight, we're going to make her fight. Let's show her this. And it's just it's creating that vengeance. I mean, the whale wants vengeance in the heart of the sea. This is showing this is how you create vengeance for a human. Show her like a destroyed city.
Miri?
Yeah, I buy it. I think I buy it also because if you look outside just the narrative of the trailer or the teaser or whatever it's called, when you look outside of it, you just look at the arc of how they've been marketing this film and what they've been dropping and the content of each trailer and each teaser. They've been so smart with how they're disseminating information because one of my complaints is whenever you have big films like this, they market so much that they give away so much of the film. Here they're just giving you one key plot point and they're saying, this is her MO, and then it leaves the rest open for what's it going to be, what's she going to do, where's she going to go. So I think it's smart. I think they did a good job.
Yeah, I got to buy it. It's a buy across the board. I really enjoyed it. One of the things that captivated me about it was the complete obliteration of her home. Like the design of it was so heartless and hopeless. As the cameras pulled back and you saw the complete devastation of the place that she loves and the home and the people she loves and all that kind of stuff, you got a real sense of not only what it was she was facing, but the tyranny that it is she's having to rise up against. And I love that. And then as a great little cherry on top, walking in to find the one fresh white rose, which we know the president left there just for her. And it's like, F you. You know, that kind of thing, you know? I think it was a really well put together little piece. I really agree with your assessment of it, about how they construct it. So, yeah, for me, it's a buy too. All right, folks, we've reached that part of the show for Mailbag. Listen, if you've got a topic or a question you'd like us to address in the show, you can email us anytime at amcmovietalk@gmail.com. Now, we're going to try to keep an extra minute at the end of the show to take some of your live Twitter questions. So if you're watching us live right now, tweet on in to @AMC Movie News, and we'll try to get to yours too. But for right now, let's get to the mailbag. So what do we got?
Hayden Lewis writes, "Hi John and AMC crew, massive fan, been watching since you guys started. Keep it up. Anyway, my question is, do you think there's a chance Chris Nolan will direct one of the upcoming DC films? I think it would be a great idea, and in my eyes, pretty much a guarantees a good movie. Thanks, and keep bringing the filthy."
I don't think so, for a couple of reasons. One, I think Christopher Nolan's done with superhero movies. Number two, if he wasn't done with superhero movies, I don't think he wants to do a superhero movie in where the supernatural is and all the meta-human stuff and all that kind of stuff. But also because I don't think Christopher Nolan's the type of guy who wants to step in and write somebody else's story. If Christopher Nolan were to direct one of these films, he's not really in charge of it. He's got to take a story outline that somebody else is going to give him, because every film in the DC cinematic universe is going to have to follow a particular storyline to lead to what they're going to. So he wouldn't really have all the freedom he's used to having just sitting down and writing whatever he wants. So all those things combined, I mean, hey, it'll be awesome if he does. I'll be excited. But I don't think that's going to happen. Mary?
Yeah, I agree absolutely 100% with what you're saying. I don't think he's there artistically anymore. I think he kind of visited that universe. I think he did with his time. He did many years working on the various Batman films that he made, and I think as an artist, he's moving on to other things. We see it in his career that he's very pinpointed in the choices he makes, on what he makes, and I think he's going to move on for sure.
Shep?
Yeah, I agree. I think he's done over 10 years of time in the superhero realm and really gave us some great films. Dark Knight gave us one of the best cinematic Jokers ever.
Yeah.
I don't want to see him do any more superhero movies. I'd rather see, I haven't even seen Interstellar, and I'm so excited to see it. I just want to see what's in his imagination, what's his next thing. I know he's talked about wanting to do a James Bond movie. I'm sure he would do a great James Bond movie, but I actually prefer his original work the best, so.
All right, what's next?
Bob Duran writes, "Hi guys, firstly, thank you for recommending Edge of Tomorrow. I loved the film so much that I watched it twice in one day."
You know what, hold on a second right there. This is one of my favorite things about doing this job. I love it when we can, like, something we talk about exposes other people to really great films that maybe they wouldn't have heard of or thought to check out, and they get to watch it and love it, and The Edge of Tomorrow is a great one like that. Anyway, sorry, Sinead, I interrupted. Please continue.
My question is related to its marketing. I remember watching the trailer and not being excited by it at all, yet John Wick's trailer has got my mouth watering. My question is there an external company who is in charge of trailers for movies, or is it all done in-house? And if the trailers cause the film to be a poor performer, who is accountable? Thanks, guys, and bring on the filthy.
Well, this gives us an opportunity to shoot down a couple of notions. Yes, there are third-party companies that will put trailers together. But yes, sometimes studios put their trailers together in-house. I mean, it's a mixed bag of things. And I think there's also this belief amongst a lot of film fans that directors put their trailers together. Sometimes they do. Quite often, they have nothing to do with the trailers, whatever. I actually know some directors where there are trailers to their movies that they hated. Yeah. They hated those trailers, whatever, but it's kind of out of their hands because that then goes into the hands of the marketing department. Ultimately, who's accountable? Whoever's in charge of the marketing. Marketing of it, whether it's being put together by a third-party company or in-house, ultimately it's the marketing division that's got to give their approval and say, yes, this is greenlit and we're going to release this. And then we saw what happened with the Edge of Tomorrow trailers, which are terrible. Yeah. Hey, Shep, you have more experience in this realm than I do. Like, what's your thought on all this?
My thought is Edge of Tomorrow made me remember John Carter, another misfire, a giant misfire from the marketing division, all the way right from the beginning where they got rid of John Carter of Mars because of this fear of Mars doesn't make money, Mars needs women. A couple of bombs involving the word Mars, mission to Mars, a bunch of they're like, no, Mars, you got to get rid of Mars. Nobody wants to go to Mars. It's well, maybe they would want to go to Mars. The original Mars book, John Carter of Mars, actually it was Princess of Mars, but that would have, I think, if they just marketed it the right way towards fans of that novel, and before Star Wars, there was all these different ways to market it. Yeah. Besides showing a dude with the name John Carter and two apes jumping behind him. It was a really weird, no one knew what it was. I remember trying to explain it to people who didn't know about the books. So John Wick's being marketed great. I think it's and everything that everybody's talking about, it pays off. Like what you see in the trailer is just an extension of what you're going to see in the movie. It's no different. It's like, yeah, it's an action film. It's fun. It's like, everything is there and it delivers. I mean, I think Live, Die, Repeat, or Edge of Tomorrow, or All You Need Is Kill, which is what it was originally called. All these different titles and people not knowing how to market something. To do your music thing for this is not the end.
This is not the end. Yeah. Oh
Yeah,
my gosh,
I mean-
it was so bad.
It's strange the way they marketed that film. Nothing about those trailers made me want to see it. I remember I was like, it just looks like Oblivion and The Matrix, boo. And then I saw it. I could not believe how much I liked that film.
Totally misrepresented the
Yeah,
film,
they
which is so
ruined
unfortunate.
all the people's work on that movie.
So
The
who do you hold
marketing.
responsible when you see these terrible trailers?
I think you're right. I think the marketing department made a lot of bad decisions, but the marketing department also has to answer to studio heads. So it's like, where does the buck stop?
Yeah.
Who's responsible? That's a good question. I think it depends on a lot of different things. I think in addition to marketing, there's also sales, foreign sales. So sometimes trailers are made to appeal to foreign markets. Like, there's international trailers and there's domestic trailers because those audiences are very different. And it's such a big landscape, it's such a big thing when a movie doesn't do well that I don't think to pin it on a trailer is necessarily fair. But in the case of Edge of Tomorrow, you could definitely say the marketing was the death knell for that movie, that it was just misrepresented, mismarketed. Completely, I don't know if they do market research and then they cut the trailer that way. I do know that for the most part with big movies, the trailers are done by third parties that are actually like usually post houses or production houses that specialize in trailers and commercials and things like that.
You raise a good point. Like some trailers are made to appeal to North American audiences, some trailers are made to appeal to foreign markets. In the case of Edge of Tomorrow, some trailers are made to appeal to nobody. So, all right, well, we said we would leave just a couple minutes into the show for your live Twitter questions. We're going to do that right now. We're going to get through a couple of rapid fire questions here. So Sinead, what's in the Twitter sphere?
At Dre5DS asks, do you think Will Smith would be more inclined to do Suicide Squad since his wife is in Gotham, or would this mean that he automatically wouldn't do it?
Wow. Okay.
That's a good
good question.
Yeah.
I don't think it automatically means he wouldn't. It might actually add a little bit, especially if Jada Pinkett is having a good time doing Gotham.
Seems like she is.
Then now remember, don't confuse. These are two separate universes. It's not like they could be in it together or whatever. But that's actually a really cool point. It might add a little bit of appeal to him.
Yeah.
Would you think anything different?
Well, I mean, they, get in bed every night and talk about work. So, honey, there's a little bit of symbiosis there. They're both working.
Maybe
in the
you should be
DC
part of a
universe.
team, like the Suicide Squad. Well, try it. Yeah, it makes sense.
All right. What's next?
At Nicholas Sergey wants to know, is there a chance for a remake of Honey, I Shrunk the Kids with modern technology, and who do you think would play the lead?
Oh, who's going to replace Rick Moranis?
I love Rick Moranis so much. Okay, and not just because he's Canadian. I've said I've got 4 rules about doing a remake. The movie's 20 years or more older, if the majority of the current movie-going audience hasn't seen it already, if it could benefit from modern technology, and if it's a story that could translate into our modern world, fine. Honey, I Shrunk the Kids fits all 4 of those. There's name recognition to it. A lot of people have really good attachment. Who is the next Rick Moranis? That's tough, but yeah, I could see it being done.
Who would be Rick Moranis? I love the idea, but who would do it?
Rob Schneider.
Yeah. Abe Vigoda.
No.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea. Good call. Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. I would love to see what they could do with it now with our modern technology.
Yeah.
So.
All right, couple more, quick.
At 7RUC0 wants to know, has there been any news about a Tron Legacy sequel?
The last, as far as I know, it's kind of ground to a halt. I haven't heard it's been killed, but the last I heard, and there could be stuff I don't know about totally, but the last I heard, just nobody's working on it anymore. Have you guys heard anything different?
No, I think the last I heard was that the first film didn't perform the way they had expected, and so they kind of put the plans for the second one on hold. And that's like all I heard, and that was like a couple years ago. Like I haven't heard anything.
Yeah, they did the Disney the animated series,
Which I liked.
Which I
Was
thought,
Tron Revolution? Was that what it called?
Tron Revolutions, something like that.
Revolutions or
I was gonna say, no, I forgot.
Rebellion? Not Rebellion. Anyway, one of those two. And I liked it.
I thought it was great. They froze it for the second season, and everybody was like, "All right," like they dismantled that. So I don't know. It's there's always secret divisions at at Disney, and they're you don't know what they're doing. So
When your voice gets growly, you sound a little bit like Will Arnett. I just noticed
You
that.
know what? I'm trying to sound a little bit.
But like
Does it
Will
sound
Arnett
like
doing
Will
Batman in
Arnett?
Lego Movie.
Yeah. Tron, Legacy, Tron Rising.
Yeah, so
He's so good in that.
I'd love to see I want to see a third Tron. You know, let's go Disney. Come on.
All right, last one.
At I Subjugate You wants to know, is Star Wars fantasy or sci-fi or both?
Oh, it's one of those cross-genre things. It's,
Yeah.
it's definitely fantasy adventure, and
It's
it's
just awesome.
definitely sci-fi, and it's
Right.
it's just the best thing ever. It's Star.
It's just rad.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, today I'm going to let you in a little bit of a secret. Like, for those of you who don't think I'm as nerdy as maybe I say I am, today I emailed out my invitations to my brand new tabletop Star Wars role-playing game night that we have coming up. I even put together like a 30-minute video tutorial on how to play the game, what type of dice you want to get, all that kind of stuff. Damn right.
Somebody get this man a pocket protector.
Christian Harloff's going to be joining me for that too, and I think we're going to videotape a little bit of it and
Nice.
put that online for people to see us nerding out and playing some Star Wars. You're not going to be there though because you're
I was
stupid
gonna
going
do
to
it.
London.
I'm going to London again, guys. But I'm doing the second one.
Yes,
I'm
we'll
going
get
to come
together
in
another time.
So.
All right, folks, we've run all out of time. Thanks so much for joining us for this installment of AMC Movie News. Listen, don't forget, lots of great films playing at AMC Theaters right now. Head on over to www.amctheaters.com for your theater, showtime, and of course, your movie ticket information. If you want an audio-only version of this episode, look in the description of this video and you'll find a link to our podcast feed so you can listen to us on the way to work or while you're at the gym or wherever. And also, don't forget to click that thumbs up button and subscribe to our AMC Movie News YouTube channel and get everybody you know to do the same. I want to thank the people sitting at the table with me. First of all, sitting to my right, Miss Miri Jedikin. Miri, where can people find you online?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Miri the Jedi.
The one and the only Mr. John Schnepp. Schnepp, where can people find you?
You guys can find me Instagram, Twitter, John Schnepp at TDOSLWH. And this weekend at San Diego Comics Fest, the super nerd out ultimate comic book convention.
How hard do you have to fight it in your head to not say Comic Con? It
It took a little while, but I've said Comic Fest enough. So yeah, this is kind of a homegrown event. It's
And
like,
it's truly about comics.
it's all comics. It's actually run by the people who originally started San Diego Comic-Con. It's been a secret for like the last 4 years, and they went public last year. So this is just the second public year.
Very cool. And of course, our lovely host today, Miss Sinead DeFries. Sinead, where can people find you online?
I am on Instagram and Twitter at Sinead DeFries and at thatsosinead.com.
And you can find me on all the various social media networks, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, whatever, at John Campia. Thanks a lot for joining us, guys. My name's John Campia, and until next time, bye-bye.
Hey everyone, if you liked this video, click that thumbs up button and make sure to subscribe to our AMC Movie News YouTube channel. It's free and helps you stay up to date with all the latest movie news, as well as our daily AMC Movie Talk show. Also, make sure that you follow us on Facebook and Twitter to stay up to date with all of our special promotions, contests, and prize giveaways.